here once again, and welcome to the Spyro Trilogy Retrospective. So, this has been quite a long time coming, but we are going to talk about the Spyro Trilogy and a lot of its aspects, the best and the worst of it. Pretty much similar to what we did for the MCU Infinity Saga Retrospective, which if you want to see more retrospective videos like this, please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, all that good stuff, and let's get into it. So, like I said, this is going to be similar to what we did for the MCU Infinity Saga Retrospective. If you haven't already, go check out that video. But basically, we're going to talk about each game. We're going to talk about the best and the worst from it. We're going to talk about the games as a whole, and will there be a Spyro 4? We will ask that question at the end. Now, some of this is going to be a bit biased because a lot of this is my opinions and everything, but I'm going to try to prove my argument as much as possible. But just know that I'm going into this a huge fan of Spyro the Dragon. So this is one of the reasons why I talked about it, and one of the reasons why I streamed it over on Twitch. So if you haven't already, go follow me on Twitch at THWE_NDiddy. And I'm not sure when I'm going to stream next. I'm not even sure what I'm going to stream next. So if you have any suggestions for games for me to stream, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. But without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with the first game, Spyro 1. So, right off the bat, and my favorite homeworld from Spyro 1 is going to be the Artisan's homeworld. Something about it is just really, really awesome. The fact that it looks so gorgeous both in the original and Reignited. Also, we're not going to split up like original and Reignited and talk about those separately. We're going to treat them like one and the same because, for the most part, the Spyro Reignited trilogy thankfully did a really great job bringing the original trilogy into a new light and breathing new life into it. But yeah, I gotta go with Artisans. It's a really gorgeous level. It's a nice chill level to kind of get your feet wet and kind of maneuver your way around the area, kind of see what's going on, see what the game's all about. And it's home to some of my favorite levels, which I'll talk about, and just a really good-looking level and everything. As far as my least favorite homeworld, I gotta go with the Nork Nexus, mainly because there's not really a whole lot to do. It's just the 4 portals, the Twilight Harbor, the Nork Cove, Nasty Nork himself, and Nork's Loot, and then that's really about it. It's kind of like just like a flat plane. It's supposed to be like the final level and everything, and there's not really a whole lot to do. Now, it makes sense because this is the final level. It's pretty much it. There's not really a whole lot else to do, but not really as much oomph to it as the other homeworld. So, unfortunately, I gotta put Nork Nexus as my least favorite homeworld. My favorite level is Dark Hollow. Something about it is just, it's always stuck with me. It could be the music, which is like nice and mellow and everything and very laid back. It could be the colors, the nighttime colors and everything. And it's probably a combination of those. And it could be the fact that it's kind of a short level, which is short and sweet. Sometimes short levels don't really pay off, but in this case I think it definitely does. And theoretically, it's one of the first levels you can access. Besides Stonehill, it's right beyond like a little hedge maze, and you can go right into it. So it's definitely a good level for getting your feet wet and everything, and really getting a feel for the controls and everything in Spyro. In terms of my least favorite level, I gotta go with Treetops, mainly because of those annoying jumps. Like there's Challenge, and then there's this stuff that was in Treetops. This stuff was like annoying, and even to this day, while I've obviously beaten Treetops because I've 100% Spyro, I could barely do it without help, and even then I still had a lot of trouble. Well, I died quite a bit. Obviously I didn't do it as a kid, and even then I remember it being very difficult to get to the end. But yeah, just cannot stand Treetops. It's Challenge pretty much for the sake of challenge, which doesn't really feel that rewarding. The only reason you would go for like those extra jumps and everything. Now, the jumps normally are kind of and you can get to the end of the level and call it quits, but for someone who went for 100% like me, those jumps were frustrating, and a lot of them, and you pretty much just do the jumps just to pretty much just to 100% the level. And Spyro himself said it best when he frees that final dragon at the top of the thing. Spyro says, "You could have found an easier place to have gotten stuck." Yeah, he sure could have. He sure could have indeed. In terms of my favorite boss, I probably got to go with Dr. Shemp. Partially because he's so goofy, but also because he is considered the hardest boss in the game. Yeah, Dr. Shemp, the really pathetically easy boss where you just flame his back and you can barely get hit by him. That's considered the hardest boss, and at least he tries to like fight you and everything. And same with Toasty. The rest of the bosses literally just run away from you, except for Metalhead, who stands there while you take out the pillars and everything. So, oh man, the boss battles in the first Spyro game definitely sucked. They would improve, and I can't be too mad at Spyro 1 because it's just the beginning of the Spyro trilogy. Usually the first game is usually the worst game in a series because they're just trying stuff out, and not really the worst, but like not as good as the other ones, because as time goes on, the other ones would improve upon the stuff that's already there, the groundwork that was already laid. But that's definitely evident here with this being the hardest boss. But it's probably the only reason I think I say it's like my favorite boss is because it's the boss that sucks the least. But the boss that sucks the most, in my opinion, is Nasty Nork, because it's so disappointing. You spent this whole time, this whole game going after him. He's like the big bad final boss. He's the big man that you gotta defeat. He's like big, he's huge, he's hulking, he's intimidating, he's got the staff and everything. And he runs away. Runs away from you, and you gotta chase thieves to get the keys to like access his little area to run after him. What? Like, why is he running away from you? Why are all these bosses running away from you? But it's super disappointing, especially because this is the final boss of the game. It's not even really a boss. It's just like a chase. He does attack you a couple times, yeah, but they're easy to dodge. It's pretty much just a chase. You're probably not gonna lose to this boss at all. But be that as it may, let's move on to Spyro 2. Kind of rants over, and this is where we get to the good stuff when it comes to the Spyro trilogy. So, in terms of my favorite home world, we gotta go with Summer Forest. For a lot of the same reasons why Artisan is my favorite home world from Spyro 1, because it's the first level you start off on. It's gorgeous to look at. There's quite a bit to do and everything, and there's a lot of textures here in this level, not just with the grassy areas and a lot of the buildings and stuff, but also the water is very nice as well. Oh, nice water, very nice water. But it's also home to some of my other favorite levels in Spyro 2, such as like Hurricos or Glimmer or Colossus. So it's just overall a good level. In terms of my least favorite level, I gotta go with Winter Tundra for a couple reasons. For starters, while there is more to do here than in like North Nexus from the previous game in terms of like final levels and everything, and I don't like it as much as the other two levels, and especially that stair climb. That stair climb is annoying and everything. And honestly, if you collected pretty much every orb up to this point, I think you can head into the boss, so you really don't even really need to play this level, if I'm not mistaken. I think you may still need to collect like 1 or 2 more orbs, but you can probably do like 1 or 2 levels from here and be done with it from there. In terms of my favorite level from Spyro 2, I gotta go with Hurricos. For starters, back in like the original trilogy, it's not like this in the Reignited trilogy because of the new voice acting, but one thing I distinctly remembered is that the denizens of Hurricos, the Electrolls that you gotta help out, sound like SpongeBob, and that's because Tom Kenny provides the voice. He actually provides the voice of Spyro, but he voices quite a few characters in this game, and the Electrolls are one of them, and they sound exactly like SpongeBob, which I really like. But also, like, a couple of the challenges is more specifically like hopping from the fans and everything. The whole fan challenge, I think, was pretty fun, and the atmosphere of the level with like the rain and the dark colors and everything. Plus there's the robot, and the gear grinder with the wrench, which some say was the inspiration for Ratchet and Clank. Whether that's true or not is up for debate, but yeah, it's really like Kuriko's. In terms of my least favorite level from Spyro 2, I gotta go with Fracture Hills. One of the reasons being those bagpipes. Oh, those bagpipes. Bagpipes are, they're debatable. Well, for me, sometimes they sound nice, sometimes they sound very annoying. In this case, they were kind of annoying, I can't lie. And they kept them reignited, and I think they even used like the same sound file or whatever for the bagpipes in Reignited. They just added a little stuff to it. But yeah, those bagpipes are kind of annoying. The Earth Shapers are kind of annoying, and the Alchemist mission and the subsequent Hunter mission, probably my least favorite mini game type thing in Spyro 2. So yeah, for that I gotta put Fracture Hills as my least favorite level. In terms of my favorite boss, I gotta go with Ripto, and he's arguably the best boss in the entire Spyro trilogy, and perhaps even in the entire Spyro series. He's such an interesting boss, and he's pretty cool and everything. How he's very much a dictator and a powerful sorcerer and everything. He's constantly present, constantly taunting Spyro, and you can see Spyro gets him and everything. And his final boss is actually pretty cool. How it's 3 phases. Is you fight Ripto himself and get the orbs and everything, the special orbs, and then you fight a mechanized version of Gulp, and then you chase after him on his pterodactyl. So that stuff is pretty cool, which is why I absolutely love this boss. Speaking of Gulp, that's my least favorite boss in this game, and he's especially harder in the Reignited trilogy because a lot of his orbs seem to home in. It's very hard to beat him on easy. Not easy. It's very hard to beat him easily, I should say, and it's very hard to like get the perfect where you beat him perfectly, unless you have like the super flame like I had, which I didn't know I had, which made this fight a lot easier. Or you just bob and weave and hope to God the thing doesn't hit you. And he can also flatten you as well, and he can swallow the barrels that you can launch at him and cause a flame cloud and everything. So yeah, Gulp was pretty difficult. But moving on to Spyro 3, my favorite homeworld is Evening Lake from Spyro 3. Kind of breaking tradition from what we've seen so far in this retrospective, where it's not the first level that's like my favorite, although I do like Sunrise Spring. But Evening Lake, something about it is just so peaceful and so calming. I love the music, the fact that a lot of it takes place underwater. It has a couple of my favorite levels, including one of my favorite levels, which we'll talk about. I'll try not to spoil it this time, but yeah, I really like Evening Lake. It's a really nice and solid level, and it's a homeworld I really enjoy going about. In terms of my least favorite homeworld, I gotta go with Midday Garden, kind of because it's not really, I hate the homeworld, it's just kind of for me compared to the other ones like Sunrise Spring and Midnight Mountain and Evening Lake, like I mentioned. But for me, Midday Garden's kind of I do like the music and everything though, so I'll give it that. And one of the reasons I say Evening Lake is one of my favorite homeworlds because it's probably home to one of my favorite levels, or I should say my favorite level for Spyro 3, and that is going to be Fireworks Factory. I definitely have a love-hate relationship with this level. Mainly, the hate part comes with some of the mini-games such as like the Twin Dragons and the Agent 9 one, which is a lot easier now that I got older. That stuff was kind of annoying, but at the same time, the idea is pretty cool. I like the music and the fact that there's ninjas and everything. The fireworks have really nice effects and everything, so stuff like that really make this level stand out. That, and it's the fact that it's the level that you see in like the opening intro when you first boot up Spyro 3, at least on PS1. In terms of my least favorite level, I gotta go with Haunted Tomb, mainly because it's home to arguing my least favorite minigame type areas. There's the slide, which thankfully wasn't that hard. I actually, on stream, when I streamed Spyro 3, I actually beat it on my first try, which shocked me that I actually beat it on my first try. But then there's the hovercraft area where you gotta hit your opponents with the missile and everything, except they will 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, hit you first. That should really be 9.9 out of 10, but they will almost always hit you first. And a lot of the strategy for beating this area will be pretty much to tank the hits and just shoot out bullets and hope to God that one of them hits the enemy before they hit you, and try to move out of the way. And obviously the strafing helps, but not enough. And the Agent 9 area, which not as bad as I got older, or is still kind of in terms of my favorite bonus character, I gotta go with Sheila. She's pretty fun. She actually moves kind of fast compared to her other fellow characters being introduced and everything. And she does have the high jump and everything. She has the kick and everything, which is nice. In terms of my least favorite bonus character, I gotta go with Agent 9. I originally went with Sergeant Bird, but I feel like with the flying and everything, that kind of edges him out. But Agent 9, no double jump, kind of confusing camera controls when you're trying to shoot and everything. Some of my least favorite mini games between the one in Fireworks Factory and the one in Dino Mines. And yeah, Agent 9, definitely not really that fun to play as. In terms of my favorite Sparks levels, the first one I gotta go with is Crawdad Farm. It's a nice introductory level to kind of get your feet wet and everything, and really get you introduced to the Sparks levels, how they play and everything. In terms of my least favorite Sparks level, I gotta go with Bugbot Factory, mainly because a lot of the enemies will hit you oftentimes, and a lot of them will get you. Now I get it, it's supposed to be like the final Sparks level in Midnight Mountain, so it's supposed to be the hardest, but there's hard and then there's annoying, and this level kind of borders on annoying a little bit. In terms of my favorite boss, I gotta go with Buzz, and I couldn't really tell you why. Just something about the way he like flops backwards after you charge into him, I think is kind of funny, at least in my opinion. In terms of my least favorite boss, I gotta go with Sorceress Boss number 2. When she survives her defeat in Sorcerer's Lair, and you fight her again in Super Bonus Round, that one was kind of to me. You pretty much just go around on the saucer and just shoot her down and everything. And pretty much like a poor man's version of the final stage of the Ripto fight from Spyro 2. But in terms of overall in the Spyro trilogy, in terms of games ranked from worst to best, I'm gonna go with Spyro 1, then Spyro 2, then Spyro 3. Yeah, and honestly, 2 and 3 is kind of a toss-up for me, but I like how the game progressively gets better as time goes on. They build more and more on the game as it goes on. In terms of my villains ranked from worst to best, I gotta go with Nasty North at worst. It's so disappointing, especially because he runs away from you and everything. Then the Sorceress, sadly, she wasn't that interesting. I wish she had more interaction with Spyro and everything. And then Ripto, he's my favorite boss, and it's not even competition, honestly. I absolutely love Ripto. Oh, he's so goofy, yet so cool at the same time. In terms of the bonus levels ranked from worst to best, I gotta go with worst Super Bonus Round, mainly because it feels like a poor man's version of Nasty's Loot, and it has some of your least favorite mini games from Spyro 3, such as the subs and what was I gonna say? The skateboard race. Not even like the skateboard park like from Enchanted Towers, but like the skateboard race from Lost Fleet. Gets repeated here or so. Oh joy, we get to experience that again. Thank God I didn't have the hovercraft one, or else I probably wouldn't have beaten it. And in terms of like the middle road, I gotta go with Dragon Shores. Dragon Shores is kind of just a break level. You don't really earn like extra gems or anything. You kind of just relax, so it's kind of middle of the road for me. And then the best, in my opinion, is Nasty's Loot, because all you gotta do is just fly around, chase a couple thieves, and collect a bunch of gems, which is very nice. You do collect a lot of gems for Super Bonus Round, but I don't think I like it as much as Nasty's Loot. So, Now that the trilogy has been covered and everything, now we ask the question, will there be a Spyro 4? No, not that crappy Spyro 4 that we got Enter the Dragonfly. I'm talking about a brand new Spyro 4, similar to what they did with Crash, where now he had a brand new game, which felt like a continuation from the Insane Trilogy, where they actually did something new with him. Will we get that for Spyro? And like I said, with Crash getting a reboot, Crash getting a new game, and Crash and Spyro have definitely been intertwined in a lot of ways, so hopefully we do see something new from Spyro. I would love to see something new from Spyro. So hopefully he does indeed get that game. And who do I want to see if Spyro 4 is going to be made? Who I want to see return and everything? Some of the characters I want to see include a lot of friends from Avalar, including Laura, the Professor, and Hunter. The bonus characters from Spyro 3, although hopefully they get tweaked a little bit so that they're a lot more fun to play as. Ripto, because he's such a fun boss, and Nasty Nork, because hopefully he can get some redemption. What I kind of want them to do is kind of go with the idea of what they had originally for Spyro Into the Dragonfly. So, for those of you who are out of the loop, Spyro Into the Dragonfly, it was rushed, and therefore it was very bad because a lot of stuff was missing, a lot of stuff got messed up, a lot of stuff was glitchy and everything. And so, one of the original ideas it had was a team up between Nasty Nork and Ripto. Not the sorceress, I guess she wasn't invited, I guess she's just gonna stay dead, but a team up between two of Spyro's biggest enemies would have been really, really cool. And I want to see them do something like that for Spyro 4 if we get it. And I want to see some new abilities, maybe bring back the different breath elements they had from like the other Spyro games, such as him like having ice breath or electric breath, and maybe bring in Cinder as well from the Legend of Spyro games. But I want to see what kind of cool stuff they would do if they did do a Spyro 4. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the retrospective. And it was pretty fun revisiting my childhood. It was fun revisiting it when I originally played the Reignite Trilogy, and being able to do so once again now that I played it on Switch and everything, and just as fun as always. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this video. And do you want to see a Spyro 4? And I kind of talked about it briefly on System Shock Radio, but I asked the question again, do you guys want to see a Spyro 4 in the future, and what would you like to see from it? But thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys later. Peace.